Hi, and welcome to Stamp with Ginny. Today I'm going to share with you this lovely little card that I created with the Darling Dinosaur stamp set. So let me set this aside and I'll show you how to get started. Okay, I'm going to start with my stamping for this, and I'm going to take my sentiment. Now this is a little trick. When you have a new photopolymer stamp set, you can ink up the sentiment and images using your Versamark, and that'll give you a nicer finish on your sentiments and solid images. And I'm going to stamp this right in the center of my strip here. And then I'm going to bring in my focal point here, and I'm going to ink up my little dinosaur in the memento and stamp it right here in the center. There we go. And then last but not least, I'm going to bring in my inside signature panel. I'm going to add some Versamark to those little feet. And I'm going to ink up my boho blue, and I'm going to stamp those little feet along the bottom edge of my inside panel. And as you can see, you get a nice solid image then with the Versamark. I've got my stamping done and I'm ready to color. So I'm going to bring in my boho blue and my calypso coral, and I'm going to start by coloring my little guy. Let's see, I'm going to bring my dark in, and I'm going to kind of go around the outside edge here where his mouth is, and then blend that with my light. And I'm going to do that in a small section simply because I want to keep those edges white. And then I'm going to finish coloring my dinosaur. Once I get to the bottom here, I can take that dark again and run it along those areas I want to create shade. And then blend. There we go. I've got my darker shades done, and as you can see, I got a little bit in on the spot here, so I can use my color lifter to push that back. There we go. Next I'm going to bring in my calypso coral, and I'm going to use the dark on his little toenails and the light on his spots. Last but not least, I'm going to bring in my pool party here, and I'm simply going to add a little swoosh of color under my dinosaur to ground him. And I'm ready to start assembling. So I'm going to bring in my cardstock base here, and I'm going to fold it on the score line. And then I'm going to bring in my designer series paper and adhere it to the front. Once I have that on the front of my card, I'm going to bring in this strip of boho blue and adhere it down to the right hand side. And I'm going to put this, about an inch down from the top and run it from the designer series paper edge into the center like so. I'm now going to add my dinosaur to my mat. Isn't he cute? And I'm going to add this matted dinosaur onto my card front. There we go. Now I'm ready for my sentiment. So I can bring in my paper snips, and I can trim this about here. And I'm just eyeballing it, but I do want it straight. And then I'm going to take my paper snips, and I'm simply going to angle the left end like so. Now for this I want to add some Stampin' Dimensionals, so I'm going to flip it over, bring my dimensionals in, and add one to each end. And then I'm going to add this little sentiment, let's see, right here in the center of my card front like so. Isn't that adorable? I love this little guy. He's so much fun. And last but not least, I'm going to tuck the inside panel on the inside for signing later, but you can adhere that if you prefer. And just to add a little pop of shine, I'm going to take my 2023 in color opaque sparkle dots and place a few around the card here. I'm going to add one here in the corner. I'm going to add one next to the sentiment, and I think I'm going to add one here above the sentiment just to move your eye around the card front. So there you go, an adorable little card that I created using the Darling Dinosaur stamp set. This stamp set also has a coordinating set of dies that makes it a lot of fun to work with. And of course, if you'd like any of these products, feel free to stop by my online store. You can get there from my blog, Stamp with Jini. Thanks for joining me.